Right now, we are staying on top of all of the minute-by-minute updates out of New Orleans, where 15 people were killed in that truck attack, including the suspect. Tonight, investigators are looking deeper into the past of that suspect. They say he acted alone, and they're collecting items from his Houston home right now. Before the attack, he proclaimed his support for ISIS in several videos as well. Police say they have ramped up security nearby. The Sugar Bowl, which is happening right now, was pushed back for safety concerns as well. And there have been many reactions pouring in about this attack. Joining us now to talk about it, retired Hartford Police Chief of Detectives, Brian Foley. Brian, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Tough day, of course, as we watch what happens in New Orleans and what has unfolded there. When you first heard about this, I'm sure you felt for the families immediately, but your detective background, what was your initial thoughts as that training kicks in when you start to
I knew something was going to happen.
Yes.
You know, a lot of, given the flavor of the country, we're in such a precarious shift of power here that I think outside the USA that people think we're at a moment of weakness. And I had worried going to sleep that night on New Year's Eve that, something would happen. Every law enforcement leader across the country should have been thinking the same thing. Look, when something like this, when you're having an event like this in these times, and you look at Times Square and some massive events, the first thing you're going to do is a threat assessment, and that is you have all your state, local, and federal partners through the Joint Terrorism Task Force do a threat assessment. They'll tell you, is there any known threats? Are there any possibility of threats? Are any groups going to be protesting? That sort of thing. And you take that assessment and you gauge your security. Security is pretty much the same for a lot of different events, especially if they're repeating. But you use that type of information to do it, and then you try to look at it, thousands of people standing in the street. That is a soft target. You want to make it a hard target, and you do that by putting assets around it, big, large assets, dump trucks with snow plows on them, garbage trucks, dumpsters, anything you can get around. That's nothing new. That's been doing, in Hartford we were doing it, I think we started around 2014. All waste would come and give us dumpsters and garbage trucks, and then we started using the snow plows to stop those big runs. What you don't want that straight run into a street for a vehicle to have. You want to be able to drastically slow it down if it were to get through, and also give people plenty of notice that something bad was happening if that were the case.
So do you think mistakes were made here?
Look, here's what I know. From 9/11 to Sandy Hook to everything, every tragedy that we have around the country, the one silver lining is that cops are going to learn how we can do it better. So yes, they will scrub down what happened in New Orleans, take any lessons learned, and apply them to events moving forward. Now, right now, any sort of large events, now here in Connecticut, you're going to have the XL Center, you're going to have college basketball games, concerts, that sort of thing. You'll have extra security. You'll go through the same steps. There'll be a threat assessment. There'll be no known threat likely. But you still are going to have, until things cool down, a much larger law enforcement footprint at these large events, be it anywhere in this country right now.
Already, I know that police are at these large events, but you think you'll
no
see
doubt.
more of a presence
Yes,
now.
yes. The worst thing that you can do as a law enforcement leader is have something happen in your city. It has a fiscal impact, not just on the cost to investigate and process it. But you want people to feel safe in your city. You want businesses to come to your city. You want events to come to your city. Hotels, restaurants, all rely on those events. And if, I'm sure there's people right now going, I don't want to go to New Orleans, So there's a large fiscal impact that you're better off spending on the security before something happens than having this happen afterwards.
Yeah, the Sugar Bowl got pushed back. That was already an implication for hotels, restaurants. Well, thank you so much, Brian Foley, retired Police Chief of Detectives. We really appreciate your insights today and always on these cases. Yes, good to see you too.